Welcome back to the second installment of the top 5 illustration rares from every single set. You guys seem to really enjoy the first video I did. It is my most viewed video on my channel, so thank you guys very much. I really appreciate you guys watching this. But in this video, we're going to be looking at these 5 sets. Now, you might be wondering, where is Paldean Face? And if you're asking that question, I know you're new here, so you better smash the subscribe button and the like button. But the reason I'm not looking at Paldean Face is because it only has 3 illustration rares throughout the entire set. And one of those 3 illustration rares still gives me nightmares to this day because I could not stop pulling it. I hated seeing it so much, and I don't want to mention it. I don't even want to say the name of it. If you know what I'm talking about, you're a real one. You should put it in the comments down below. But with that nonsense out of the way, let's move into the first set. My personal favorite set of Scarlet and Violet so far, Temporal Forces. And I think with these illustration rares that I'm going to show you, it might just become your favorite set too. So let's get into it. And the first card we have at number 5 is Ghastly, and I know you guys are thinking like, how is this number 5? I know it's in a lot of people's number 1, but I think it just goes to show how strong Temporal Forces is as a set. But look at this card, it's a beauty. I love everything about this card. You got all the Ghastlies, the Haunters, the Gengars. It's amazing. You got a little Meowth there wondering what the hell was going on. I think it's beautiful. I love the purples. I even love the yellows, the illumination from the street lights, and the same yellow being illuminated on the moon in the background. I just love the idea that there's a segregated parade going on where only Ghastlies, Haunters, and Gengars are allowed, and that's why this Meowth, he shouldn't be out. He's out on curfew. Whatever it is going on, he knows he shouldn't be there. You can see sort of the surprise and the uh-oh, I've been caught. It's just perfect. I love it. I love how mischievous it is. It's just amazing. The only drawback to this card is its price. It is on the pricey side at around £28, but it's definitely worth it. It's amazing. It shows such amazing Pokemon drawn amazing. You kind of just have to get one. Bite the bullet and pick it up. Coming in at number 4, we have Shiftry. Now, this card blows my mind. It is first of all drawn amazing by Sia Nanahara. Look at these colors. Look how fierce it looks. It looks like it's just posed after doing an amazing attack. You got Seedot flying everywhere. I love the browns, the little bit of green. It's such a beautiful card. And the crazy thing is, it's only around £4. If you don't have this card already, pick it up. It's an amazing, amazing deal for such a nice art. At number 3, we have the first 2-parter in this series, and I love these cards. Even if these cards were by themselves, this Deerling and Swordsbuck together look absolutely amazing. I love the story. You have the mother Swordsbuck making sure that the baby Deerling is chasing after it and not getting lost. And look at the colors in the background representing all the seasons. It is such a beautiful card. I love the vibrant colors. It's so good. It's so good, this card, and I hope you guys can see why I love Temporal Forces so much. It's just an amazing set. This 2-parter is definitely way up there in my all-time top illustration rares. The price, you can get both of these for around £20. It looks like you can pick up a really good steal if you can find it, if you can look for it, if you have the patience. But expect to get the pair for around £20. I think they look amazing. I think it's worth it. Do yourself a favor and grab the pair up because it will look amazing in any collection, in any binder. Pick it up. At number 2, we have Drampa, drawn by Mikayu. Now, I don't recognize this artist, but I love how this is drawn. I love the 2D aspect of it, the colors, everything looks amazing. It seems so Studio Ghibli-esque. I just absolutely adore this card. It looks amazing. I love the buildings. I love the green sky. I love how everything is drawn. It looks so mythical and so serene and calming. I also adore the lone Butterfree just chilling in the bottom of the image. It's just beautiful. It's so lovely. It's such a lovely card. If you haven't seen my latest PSA video, I graded this card and a bunch of other illustration rares as well, so you guys should check that out. But the value of this card is only around £7 as well, so you should definitely pick it up. There's no reason not to. It's a genuine work of art. Pick it up. At the number 1 spot, we have Metagross, and I love this card. It is absolutely perfect. I love the snow. I love the buildings. Look at the sunset in the background. It's absolutely perfect. I love the color of the sky, the snow. The fact that Metagross is there helping out or playing in the snow, I'm not exactly sure, but either way, behind its dead expressionless eyes, you know it's having fun. I love this card. It's amazing. It's so juxtaposed. You have the serene snow and then a big clunky Metagross just there playing in the snow. I absolutely love this card. It's amazing. It is another card that I got graded and came back in my PSA return. You guys should definitely check out that video. But this is why this is in my #1 spot. This card is only around 13, 14 pounds. It's so cheap for what it is. This is a card that's definitely going to go up. It's a work of art. Pick it up. A quick honorable mention goes to this Arbok. I love this card. It just got beat out by the other beauties that are in Temporal Forces, but this is definitely something that you should not sleep on. It's only around 10 pounds as well, so definitely worth picking up. Temporal Forces, I think, is going to go to the moon, so pick one up now. And that concludes Temporal Forces, so let's move on to Twilight Masquerade. To start off Twilight Masquerade, at the #5 spot we have Timber, and I adore this card. I think I have a soft spot for Pokemon in their environment. I love the idea of Timber helping out with the Timbers. It's so perfect, it's fitting, it looks adorable, it's drawn adorable. It looks like they're getting ready for the festival change, the masks, whatever it is in the DLC for the games. I like it. I also find it funny seeing Gerda in the background. To me, he's saying, oh bollocks, I brought the wrong thing, but he's looking up proud at Timber. I just think it's a nice touch. It's just missing the Conkeldurr, but I think it's still a great card. And for only around £4, I mean, it's a steal, guys. Pick it up. At #4, we have Eevee, and this card is adorable, and I think that's the best way and only way to describe it. It is adorable. You have so many Eevees just chilling around, doing whatever. One's drinking a cup of coffee, the other one's playing with a Hydreigon or Iron Jugulus plushie. It's just adorable. It's cute. It's also very expensive. I think that's why I have it at #4 and not anywhere higher, because I can't justify spending around £55. It looks like you can get it for cheaper if you try to win it on bid, but still between £40 and £60 is a bit too much for me. I personally wouldn't pay that much. If you guys do want to get this card and don't want to spend so much, I'd look for Japanese, but it's up to you if you want to pick this one up. At #3, we have Probopass, and I'll be honest, this card wasn't even in my list to begin with. I had a look over at the illustration res just to see what I would change. I looked at this card, and the more I looked at it, the more I realized there's so many reasons to love this card. First of all, it's a Pokemon in its environment. It's a Probopass being used as a sundial or something. It's being decorated by a child. It's amazing so far, but then you look around, you have a Jogger running with a Boltund. You have a Lotad and a bunch of Starlies just hanging around. You have a Bidoof butt. I mean, that alone is reason to pick one up. But you also have an old man chilling with a Larvitar in the background. There is so much going on in this illustration reel. I love it. I had to just put it in the list. And it's only about £3. It's so cheap. Pick one up. There's so much in this card that I think people have looked over. So grab one. In the #2 spot, we have Tatsugiri, and I love this card. It's so vivid. I love all the colors, the oranges, the pinks, the reds, the blues, and I love how the bold outlines accentuate all those colors. It's such a nice card. It's unique as well. We don't really see a lot of cards drawn like this, and I just appreciate it. The value of this card is around £10 as well. I think it's worth picking up. It looks so nice. Grab one. At the #1 spot, we have Chansey, and I adore this card because it is the perfect embodiment of what a Pokemon Center run only by Pokemon would look like. I love how you have the Blissey in the background, blissfully ignorant of the chaos going around, if you'll pardon the pun. You have the Snorlax chilling in the background, just conked out. I love it. I can relate to that. We all can. You've got the Chansey stressing out. It looks like it's about to drop the boxes. But when I see this card, I think the evil little blob Ditto in the bottom left corner has been telling the Psyduck to mess with the Chansey, and that's why it's falling. I love the story behind this, and I love the little derpy Bellsprout just watching like, hey, what's going on over here? This card is just so perfect. This is why it's my #1. You guys might be surprised, but this is the perfect illustration rare, and you can pick yourself up one for around £10. It's a no-brainer. Grab one. An honourable mention has to go to this Infernape. I couldn't go the entire list for Twilight Masquerade without mentioning this card, because I think this card is actually awesome. I love the colours. It's so vivid and pops out. It's really cool, the comic book style. It's amazing. I love it. It's another one of those unique cards which I appreciate, and for around £10, I think it's worth picking up. It's a beautiful art. Go grab one. That's Twilight Masquerade done with, and now let's move on to probably the weakest set in terms of illustration rares, but still has some bangers, Shrouded Fable. To start off Shrouded Fable, at the number 5 spot we have Persian, and this is an awesome card. You have a very elegant Pokemon in a very luxurious apartment staring out of the window into a beautiful backdrop with a load of buildings and what looks like a church with this nice blur effect everywhere on the lights and stuff. It's a very, very nice card, but the problem I have with this card is that Persian being a cat, to me, I think this Persian is just staring at his own reflection more so than the gorgeous backdrop in the background. But with that being said, this card is also on the pricey side. The last few sales have been about £25 and the ones before that have been around 35 to 40. So I'll put the value at around 30, but it's up to you if you want to grab this one. At number 4 we have Fracture, and this card is stunning. I love it. Look at the lighting, look at the coloring, everything is beautiful. I love how you can almost hear this card. You can almost hear the water just gushing down. I love the Axews in the background playing. I love the rotund, the chubby little Fracture just basking in the sunlight. It's a beautiful card. It's amazing. It's lovely. And the value of this card is only around £7. It's definitely worth picking up at that price. Grab yourself one. At number 3 we have Fezandipiti. I love this card, even though I don't like the Three Musketeers, Fezandipiti, Okidogi, and Montgomery. I don't remember his name, but this card is a beauty. I love the colors, I love the clouds, the mountain range. It looks so epic, I think is the right word for it. And Fezandipiti being perched in the middle atop a little cliff, it's perfect. I really like this card, and the value of this card is only around £6 as well. It's a really cheap card and it looks beautiful. I say grab one. At number 2 we have Houndoom, and this card is a beauty. I love everything about this card. You can see a whole pack of Houndoom mid-chase. They all look so fierce and menacing. I love it. I love the minimalistic use of color as well. The only bit of color is the red streaking from his eyes. It's so perfect. I love this card. And it seems like a lot of people share that sentiment, because this card's value is around £19–20, so it's high up there, but definitely worth picking up. At number 1 we have Dusclops. Now I love this card, and not just because he's also a chubby one-eyed freak, but because it's drawn amazing by James Turner, a British artist. I absolutely love how these arts perfectly convey how the Pokemon may be coming up with an idea. That split second decision to decide what to say when someone catches them doing something dodgy. And I think the Dusclops is my favorite of the 3, because you can imagine his excuse being, oh, I just want my football back. You know, it's dumb, it's silly, I love it. The Duskull, the Dusclops, and the Dusknoir, they're all amazing. I love these cards. And the value of this card is also around £15. I think it's definitely worth it, but if you're picking this one up, you have to pick up all 3. This is going to be my first and hopefully only dishonorable mention, and it's Montgomery. And man, look at this card. Everything about this card is so stunning. It's such a beautiful, beautiful card. Look at the tree, the cherry blossoms, the foreground. It's so beautiful. And then the Pokemon just absolutely ruins it for me. It's so disappointing looking at this. I really don't like this Pokemon. I hate its design, and that's probably a massive bias, but I mean, you will just have to tell me if you disagree with me or not. If for whatever reason you want to taint your collection with this card, it goes for around £10, so it's up to you if you want to grab it. I would swerve. That's Shrouded Fable done with. Let's move on to Stellar Crown. Starting off Stellar Crown at number 5, we have Zeraora, and look at this card. I think the perfect word for it is electrifying, if you'll pardon the pun, of course. But this is a beautiful card. There's so many colors. It's so vivid. I love it. Again, with the bold outlines to accentuate the colors within it. It's a beautiful, beautiful card. It is reminiscent of the Infernape from Twilight Masquerade, but that is no negative when it comes to this card. And the value of this card is around £8, and I think it's a good value. It's a beautiful card. It looks like a comic book strip. Pick one up. At number 4, to probably everyone's surprise, is this Crabominable card. Now, I know this isn't a very light Pokemon, and I don't like it either, to be fair, but this card does something that I really like. It's so simple, but it makes the Crabominable look so epic, and it just reminds me of a snow golem. I love the picture and how simple it is. He looks to me like a guardian or something, even though we can't see anything that he's guarding. Maybe I'm just putting too much of a twist on it in my own head, but I like it. I like it. And It seemed like a lot of people don't, so if you do like this card, then it is probably about £4 to £5, but it looks like you can get it for really cheap on bid. I'd say pick one up. At the number 3 spot, we have this adorable Bulbasaur. I love how quaint this picture is. I love how Bulbasaur is just chilling amongst a bunch of other different plants. It's very Disney-like and not in a tacky way at all. I think it's perfect for Bulbasaur. I adore the reoccurring theme of Pidgeys just being everywhere, and this card also lines up sort of with the Squirtle from the same set and the Obsidian Flames ETB promo, so it's a lovely little set. The price is, however, quite expensive. Of course, being a Gen 1 starter, you're gonna have to pay a premium, and the price of this is around £30 to £35, so it's up to you if you want to pick one up, but it's probably only going to get more expensive. At number 2, we have Lileep, and this card is adorable. Not only is it drawn beautifully with the colors that is used in the art style, but if you just pay a little bit of attention, you'll realize that this owner must love her Lileep so much that everything in her life and in her room and everything is all based around Lileep, from the rugs literally being Lileep's face, or just the fact that everything is shaded in the same colors that Lileep is. I think it's amazing. It's a very endearing illustration, right? And that's why I love these cards so much, because they tell a story so well. And this card is very cheap. It looks like you can pick it up for about £5 to £6. I would add it to your collection as soon as you can. It's cheap. At the number 1 spot, we have Gulpin, and I adore this card. It's so nice to actually get some representation in Pokemon. I love the idea of a fat, rotund Gulpin, gulping down an entire cake in one go. What's not to love about this card? The colors, so simplistic, but so perfect. I love it. And this card is only around £5 as well. It's such a cheap card for such an adorable card. Go pick one up. An honorable mention has to go to this Squirtle. It is an adorable and perfect card. Well, almost perfect. Like, you have a Squirtle in a little pool, you have a bunch of Pidgeys, it's making a mess. What's not to love? Well, I'll tell you what's not to love, and don't blame me if this ruins the card for you. But look at Squirtle's mouth. That is not the mouth it makes when it does a bubble beam. And that's why it's not in the top 5. But it's still an adorable card, so if you want to pick it up, I wouldn't blame you in the slightest. But it is about £35 to £40 now. It looks like it's rising. The latest sold was for £50. But it looks like you may be able to get it for around £30 to £35. I think it's still worth picking up. With Stellar Crown done, let's move on to the final set, Surging Sparks. And there's some absolute bangers in this set. Starting off Surging Sparks, we have such an underrated card. At number 5, it is Castform. Look at this card. There is so much detail in it. It's an adorable card. You got all the forms of Castform, including the regular one in the middle. It's just amazing. I don't know if the region it's showing is Paldea, but look how detailed it is. You can see all of the different regions. This is such an underrated card. It's crazy. It's also not too expensive, coming in at around £7. Especially with Surging Sparks being absolutely crazy right now, I think that's worth picking up. At number 4, we have Braviary. Look at this card. It is a genuine work of art. Shout out to the artist Kapao. Look at this. I love the oil painting style. It is drawn so beautifully. Look at the sun at the top of the painting. Does that not look like it belongs in Starry Night by Van Gogh? It's so beautiful. This is such an underrated card. I don't think it's talked about enough. Look at the colors. It is an absolute beauty of a card. And for some reason, some ungodly reason, it's only around £4. This is a definite must buy. This needs to be in your collection. Do yourself a favor and grab it. In at number 3, we have Skarmory. I love this card. It's a Pokemon in its environment, and not only that, it is drawn so beautifully. I love the sort of oily pastel way that it's been drawn. It's done so perfectly. I love how Skarmory just looks so elegant, perched on top of one of 2 minivans. It's interesting. It's clearly a desert. I just really like it. It's perfect. It's almost vulture-like, but it's so elegant at the same time. It's amazing. And the value of this card, it looks like it's dropping a little bit. It looks like you can get it for around £9, £8-9. I say pick one up. It's a work of art. At number 2, we have Cerulege, and this may be one of my top 10 illustration rares of all time. I love this card. I love how it's drawn. It's so ethereal. It's so majestic. I love it. Shout out to the artist Rond. I've never heard of this guy before, but I'm going to keep an eye out for his art, because if it's like this, I'm going to pick up everything. It is a thing of beauty. I think a lot of it also has to do with the fact that it reminds me of the Berserker armor from the best manga out there, Berserk. I love all the colors. I love how everything looks. It's drawn so perfectly. I love it. Beautiful, beautiful card. And I think a lot of people share the same sentiment, because it is slightly more expensive at around 10 to 15 pounds. There's a lot of different values being sold at. See if you can find yourself one for cheap, but it's definitely worth it. Pick it up. At the number 1 spot for Surging Sparks, we have Slack Off. And I will fight anyone who disagrees with me with this one. I'm joking, of course, but man, this card is just pure perfection. It's so minimalistic, but it says everything that you need it to say. You have a lazy sleeping Slack Off, just chilling in the middle of a field with a lone flower. I think I just have a predilection towards the lazy, the rotund, the fat. I love all of this. I love it. I love the representation. I see myself in these Pokemon, and I love it. I love it. It's such an adorable card. How can you not love it? Even the move, take it easy, is so perfect. Everything about this card is so perfect. And it's a cheap card. It's around £4 or £5. Go pick yourself up one. It is definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. Grab it. And that concludes the second part of the top 5 illustration rares of every set in Scarlet and Violet. Man, I never knew how much of a mouthful that was. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for sticking around. You guys, I know you guys disagreed with a lot of my takes right there. So I want you guys to argue with me in the comments down below. Tell me which cards you're more passionate about. Tell me which cards you like the most. Tell me what you disagree with. Tell me why you hate me. Everything. I want to know it. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Please smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!